Welcome into King Whale's album review party. Today we have a very special episode. We are going to be reviewing Timeless by Kaytranada, the new album that just came out recently, I think a couple of months ago. But I gotta announce my co-host first. How you doing, Ty? Or what's your name today?
Weird and witchy.
Ah, yes.
Because I think it describes me personally as well as describing some of my favorite songs on this album. So I thought it was a nice combination there.
Yeah, no, if you've heard
How
this
are you how
album,
are
then
you
that'll
feeling
make
today?
perfect sense. Oh, how am I doing today? I'm great. I'm tired because I got in at 2:30 last night. Well worth it. But yeah, no, I got home that late last night because I went to a Talib Kweli concert in Durham. And he didn't go on until like I thought he was potentially going to be done by like 10, but he didn't actually go on till 10. And he went all the way till 11:30 because he has so many songs.
Mm-hmm.
Um but it was just a crazy night. It was an awesome night. I got to be like right there on the front row and like get like the dap and everything. Oh, I still have the stamp from where it was. It's at the Motorco Music Venue in Durham. Pretty
Oh,
great
I
venue.
thought I was wondering if it was that or like a pen exploded on the back of your hand or something.
Yeah, crazy night, man. Talib Kweli was performing. A pen exploded on me. Like it was just. But yeah, no, the show was awesome. He had some really good openers. Sky Zoo was there. As well as this guy Landon Wordswell was there, and he's a pretty small artist, but he did really good on his set too. So it was just a great
Nice.
night. It was unfortunately it stormed on my way there and on my way back, which like added like an extra 20 or 30 minutes to my drive time. So
Mhm.
like I was thinking like, yeah, I could shave like 30 minutes off this drive. No, actually it added 30 minutes. So
Right.
I am slowly waking up as we do this podcast. So bear with me, everybody. But that's not going to stop us from talking about Timeless by Kate Tronada.
I'm here.
I think our computers are still feeling the effects of that Windows outage on Friday.
Yeah.
So you guys might have to bear with us a little bit too. And anyone that
Yeah.
has a Windows tablet or computer, you know exactly what happened. Or anyone that tried to buy anything on Friday, you know exactly what happened with the whole weird IT outage, which is actually kind of like scary because it's like, man, in just one, like it was, I don't know if it was a cyber attack or if it was just like a security fluke, but like it almost crippled like everything because you couldn't buy anything and people needed to buy stuff to like get gas to go where they need to go. Um, man, just really hope AI doesn't turn evil one day because we are so screwed.
I
Like,
think it, oh, I think it most definitely will. Like, I can't imagine it not how we treat
uh,
it, dude.
I saw this one video
If
that
and
was
when.
talking, if it went, I saw this one video that was talking about the apocalypse, and he was like, "How are you going to play your next 5 years?" And this guy was talking about like how he was going to plan for the apocalypse. He's like, "Yeah, I'm going to have some kids. I'm going to train them to be warriors. Have my own little kinfolk. That way, I can, you know, survive when the world ends because AI is going to take over and start destroying everything." And the other
Okay.
guy was like, "Huh." And he was like, I mean, he's like, for me, I'm not really a apocalypse survivor kind of guy. I'm just like,
Hmm.
once it happens, just take me out first. Like,
Hmm.
I'm not built for that. So just, hey guys, apocalypse here. It's happening. I'll go first. I'll take
Deuces,
it. Yep.
I'll be the
Bye. It
one.
was real.
I'll jump in front of the bullet for you because I really don't want to survive.
Yeah. It was so funny. And I was like, accurate. I'm like, I feel like
That's
I'm the
what
same way, but
that's what's so funny about all those like apocalypse movies is like it's not just surviving. You have to have such a strong will to survive
I
through
know.
such adversity. I'm like I'm happy to be alive. I don't know if I have like the mental fortitude to go through like we were just talking about a quiet place, like a
Yeah,
quiet place
exactly.
like scenario. I don't think I could, man. I would just be like, I'm gonna scream and just get this over with.
I'm like, I do have an aversion to being ripped apart by a monster, and
Right.
I would be a little upset if it like ripped off my leg and then just kind of
Mhm.
left me there and like chased after somebody else. I'd be like, no, finish it! Like, come on, man, you're gonna leave me like in horrendous
Start
pain. My
screaming
leg,
more, like, wait, no, come back.
come
Come
back, we're not
back. Come
done.
back. I'm not done.
Oh, this is very morbid. We love life. Let's just make that very clear. Please don't
Anyway,
call a hotline for us. Just
anyway, Timeless by Katranada.
Kaytranada, yes. To the actual subject at hand. Um, so I'm listening to this album, and
Mhm.
I guess my first thoughts, I
So yeah.
absolutely loved it. Loved it so much. It is probably one of my favorite albums that's come out this year. I actually haven't listened to a whole lot of music that
Okay.
came out this year, so I need to like update my list and like see exactly where it is. But
Mhm.
it's one of my favorite albums that I've heard this year. I think it's one of my, I think if I was to classify it, I would probably almost classify it as an R&B album first, even before house or techno. So
Mhm.
I think like if it gets nominated for a Grammy, I wouldn't be surprised if it's nominated in the R&B and techno categories, but I would probably more nominate it in the R&B category because I feel like without R&B, you have a completely different album. Like you could take all the techno elements out of this album and it could still
Mhm.
work, you know what I mean? But I think without the R&B elements, it changes everything. Because even the singers that Kate Trinata got to guest feature on them, all of them have such great R&B chops and like
Yeah.
you can tell he was influenced by that when he made these songs. Like he's like he didn't just make a song and say like, "Oh, hey, Rochelle Jordan, Childish Gambino, you want to hop on this?" Like he was like, "I'm making this song and Rochelle Jordan's going to sing on it." And you can tell because of the chord
Right.
structure, because of the way that he had her layer her harmonies when she sang on it, it just worked so well.
Yes. And that's I think something that I've always loved about Katranada. I think between 99% and Bubba, like he has
Mhm.
proven that he has the skill to tailor make whatever song he's making to the artist. No matter I think I don't know exactly how the process works, whether he has a track first and finds the artist to fit perfectly in it, or he specially tailors it for the artist itself, but this is just another great example of him doing exactly that. And I think I totally agree with the idea that everyone here has great R&B chops.
Oh
Like
yes.
I think the vocal focus in that sense is stronger than 99.9% and Bubba.
Hmm.
Neither of them had quite the R&B focus it felt like listening to it, but uh it's still really great.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's the main difference between why this album hit me so well. Because I mean, in like 99.9 has some R&B artists on there. I mean, like Bad Bad Not Good, they play a lot in the R&B space. They produce a lot of Daniel Caesar songs, but they're kind of more of a jazz group. So they kind of
The
they were
jazz.
on Weight Off, yeah. Um and then you got Anderson Paak on Glowed Up, but even Glowed Up wasn't really an R&B song at all. Like, and Anderson Paak
Mhm.
wasn't really doing R&B stuff on that one. It was just kind of like this is straight hip hop, it kind of felt like. Um so I definitely feel like that's the main difference between um 99.9 and Timeless. It feels like
Mhm.
Timeless, like 99.9, I think he sounds like he's a lot more experimenting with different techno sounds and different house sounds and different not necessarily EDM, but just very techno electronic music. Can't even say the words right. But on Timeless, it feels like he's making an electronic R&B album. Like it's and every single song fits with it. Don
Mhm.
Toliver, Charlotte Day Wilson,
Mhm.
Gambino, like every single song. So I'm like,
Mhm.
so like, what are your, so like, we're gonna get to like what worked for us on the album and what didn't work for us. But I'm like, I feel like I need
Yeah.
to talk about our top songs first. So like, what are your
Okay.
standout tracks on Timeless for you?
So for me, easily the number one standout has to be Weird with Durand Bernard.
Hmm.
It what he does with his vocals, I'm not gonna demonstrate. Listen to the song for yourself.
You're not gonna
But
give us a show? What do you mean?
no, because I can already hear in my voice how horrible it would sound, how much I would butcher it, which I think is a testament because even trying to mimic it, nobody, I don't think with no experience could mimic it. I think that's just how skillful he is, and that's what I'm gonna stick with.
Yeah.
But no, what he does with his vocals and weird is just so playful and like entertaining, and like it fills in me like the desire to like I need to stand up and start dancing.
Oh
Like
yeah.
what he's doing, it's like I cannot listen to this sitting down because it makes me I'm uncomfortable because I need to be moving. And that's what I love about the track. But then of course Spit It Out is absolutely amazing. Um
Song.
the the third single that was dropped out, Drip Sweat, has been stuck in my head like an earworm.
Okay.
And then I really it doesn't feel weird for Kaytranada, but it feels a little odder on this album itself. And that is Wasted Words with Thundercat. Like I
Mm-hmm.
think that track it perfectly fits for what Kaytranada would do, but it doesn't feel quite as R&B focused as the rest of it. Maybe because of Thundercat's incredibly unique vocal stylings and bass playing that it you can anyone can recognize him from like a mile away.
Yeah.
And so uh I love Thundercat and I love what he does. And so I really enjoy that track because of how weird it is.
Yeah. Oh, we gotta do one of his albums next too, Thundercat.
But
Um,
how about you? What are your standouts?
well, I think for me, Witchy is the best song on here, in
Mm-hmm.
my opinion, far and away. I cannot stop listening to it. That is my summer bop. Like, I like it more than Espresso. I like it more than Not Like Us. I like it more than Please, Please, Please. Pretty impressive how Sabrina Carpenter has two of the songs of the summer on that list.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Witchy, especially at the time that it came out, like this song should be playing on like it has such great crossover appeal to any radio station, any like Star 94.5 back when we lived in Orlando. Like
Mm-hmm.
that feels like the perfect radio song. And then Spit It Out, I think is probably number two for me because it's just
Mm-hmm.
Rochelle Jordan's vocals on that are just like haunting, hauntingly
Mm-hmm.
beautiful. Uh, and I can't get them out of my head. And then the third, oh, I just had it. I was thinking of it just a second ago. I think Still with Charlotte Day Wilson. Either Still or Feel Away with Don Toliver. Those two songs are like right there at three and four. Kind of
Mm-hmm.
almost tied. Um, Also, little known fact. So I didn't realize. So the first song on Kaytranada's album is called Pressure.
Mm-hmm.
That sample, guess who also has a song named Pressure that uses the exact same sample that Kaytranada used?
Who?
Lupe Fiasco.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What's
But
the sample?
so the sample, I should really look that up. So I don't know if the sample of the song is called Pressure. Um, Let me look up that album. Because immediately when I heard it, I was like, oh, I know this. And it's because that was from Food and Liquor. Lupe used the exact same um sample on his song. Now I'm trying to remember if the song by Lupe was called Pressure or if it was Just Might Be Okay. Because I think, but
Is
let
it
me
off
check. I'm
of
pulling it up right here.
is it off of Food or Liquor? Or Food
Food
and
and
Liquor?
Liquor. Yeah.
Yeah, there is a song on Food and Liquor called Pressure
Yeah. And that's the one featuring Jay
with
Z.
Jay-Z. Is that the track in question?
I'm like, I think I need to just play it because I'm not going to figure this out until I listen to it. Also, in case anyone was wondering, by the way, take a guess at what Kate Trinada's most popular song right now is.
Is it Witchy?
Is definitely Witchy. Definitely Witchy. It's not telling me where his. I'm looking at like the personnel, and usually it tells me where the
All
sample
right.
is.
It's Pressure Cooker by Motown performer Thelma Houston.
Okay. So, yeah, and I think I just looked up pressure cooker and I'm like, why are all these pots showing up? Pressure cooker song. Okay. If you look up this, he says by Thelma.
Thelma Houston.
Thelma Houston. Oh, Thelma Houston and pressure cooker. Okay. So it's the same sample that Lupe Fiasco uses on Pressure by Jay-Z.
Oh, cool.
Pressure featuring Jay-Z. So as soon as I heard that, I was like, I know that.
You
So
recognize that from a mile away.
yeah, yeah. So it's pretty cool. Yeah, if you try listening to him back to back, and it's like, huh. So I immediately was hooked from that, just because it was very familiar. And I'm like, I didn't even realize, like I said, I didn't realize that he called it Pressure as well, but I guess it's because the song is called like Pressure Cooker. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, no, far and away the best album. And I think just the fact that I'm on Spotify and I'm seeing that Witchy is the top song on here, it
Hmm.
just proves my point in my only gripe about this album.
Which is,
What he chose for his singles.
oh.
Like, that's my only gripe because I'm like,
Mhm.
his singles off of this album, it's like they weren't like again, the album was great, so the songs weren't bad, but he chose Drip Sweat. What was it? It was Drip Sweat and then the other Channel Trace song that were both singles, and then he chose Lover Friend
Lover
with
friend.
Rochelle Jordan.
Hmm.
And I was like, I guess, but like those don't feel like even close to being the best songs on the album. Like, definitely should have been Witchy. Definitely should have, like, if you're choosing which Rochelle Jordan song, Spit It
Hmm.
Out to me is just so much better than Lover Friend. Like, Lover Friend is still a great song, but like if I'm choosing a
Yeah.
single, Spit It Out is like everybody's been saying that's been one of their standout tracks. And I even would have chose Weird over
Hmm.
probably Drip Sweat, honestly. I Yeah, I'm like, I feel like this could have been even more popular if Witchy, especially with Gambino releasing a new album too that we're about to cover.
Hmm.
Um, Again, I'm not Kaytranada's manager, but I feel like this album could have been way bigger if Witchy was the lead single.
Yeah.
And judging by how it's literally tearing up the charts right now,
Hmm.
um, I'm like, okay, I'm validated. You know what I mean? Like, I'm right. Maybe, and again, I don't always understand, like, for marketing for bigger artists, it can be different. Like maybe he did that on purpose, but I don't
Hmm.
see what the purpose would have been. So like you said, either way,
Yeah.
it's still like his most popular song right now.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, because it's at 14 million streams, and the next closest
Oh,
one
wow.
on that album is 8 million, and that's the Don Toliver song. Especially because
Gotcha.
Gambino is your biggest star on this album too. Like, no one else
Hmm.
is as popular. The only one who comes close is maybe Anderson Paak, but Gambino is far and away your biggest star in this album too.
Hmm.
So I guess that's why it's so confusing. But oh
Yeah.
well.
It's a big track. Maybe you wanted it to be a surprise. You know, you don't want to play your biggest hand as a single. Um, you just kind of want to set the tone. But even then, why, if you're gonna have like multiple songs with the same feature, why have two of them be in your singles?
Hmm.
I definitely don't get that logic, especially seeing as I prefer Drip Sweat much more to Stuntin', and I think that's the much stronger Channel Trace
Oh,
song.
Stuntin' was the other single.
Stuntin' was the second one. It was
Okay.
Lover Friend, then Stuntin', then Drip Sweat.
Okay.
Just I think you can change Lover Friend and I think you can change Stuntin'. I think Drip Sweat better, like I think that exemplifies the album as a whole, at least parts of it,
Hmm.
well enough that I think that one is strong as a single. I think Spit It Out definitely should have been the one. Personally, I want to save Witchy for like a surprise, like, oh, this
Surprise.
is
Here's this.
secretly
Yeah.
like the best song in the album. But I can see its strengths as a single. I would have thrown it's probably a little uncommon. I probably would have thrown Dance 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 on there, which I think is his strongest track without a
Strongest
vocal
solo
on it.
track. Yeah.
I think
I
it's the
agree. That one's
strongest
really strong too.
production, which I think to me leads into like my biggest weakness with this album. I know you mentioned
Hmm.
the singles. I think for me, it's with his non-featured tracks. I think they are nowhere near as strong as the featured tracks, and that hasn't been the case before for Kaytranada. I
I see
think
what you mean.
on I think on 99% and on Bubba, the even though Bubba was so dense with features, there's not that many. I think it's still strong in the tracks that don't have features. Things like Please Babe or Stepped On or Seemingly just kind of fade into the background.
Yeah.
And whether it's because of the strength of some of the surrounding tracks or they just aren't that exciting, I think it lowers it all a little bit for me.
Yeah.
Because before with the past two albums, I forget, have you listened to, but I know you listened to 99%.
I haven't listened to Bubba, but I have heard
Okay.
99%.
Okay. And
Um,
so I feel like there, like the instrumental tracks were just as strong
okay.
as the featured tracks. Here they feel noticeably weaker
Hmm.
uh than the others. And so it takes it down a peg for me, but still incredibly solid.
Yeah, I think for me, I think the my strongest like non-feature track is probably Pressure, honestly. And like I think that's partially because like I just love that sample.
Yeah.
But
It's a good
also,
it's a really great opener. I
yeah,
do
great
really love
opener. Yeah.
Pressure.
Yeah, and I think it works better as an opener than it would as a single. So I think I'd agree. I probably would have done Dance 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 if I wanted like a non-featured single,
Hmm.
which I think would have made sense. But some of them kind of just like blend together.
Yeah.
Like again, Please Babe, Stepped On. You can even tell by their numbers, they kind of just almost blended together. I don't know if mixing them around on the album would have helped or anything like that.
Hmm.
Um, but to me, like if I was the manager, if Witchy wasn't gonna be my single, I
Hmm.
would have made it the second song on the album. Because
Hmm.
like if you sometimes people will release singles and like keep them later in the album, so you kind of got to listen to it to get to that single that you know you're waiting for while you listen to the whole album. I'm like,
Hmm.
if it was like, okay, Witchy's not going to be the lead single, because like
Hmm.
and Spit It Out really works as the second song on there too as well. Don't get me wrong.
Hmm.
But like if it was like, nah, let's save Witchy, we don't want to do it as a single, I would have released Spit It Out instead of Lover and Friend as a single, and I would have
Yeah.
moved Richie up to number two and just swapped them because
Mm-hmm.
again, it is so like Kaytranada fans are gonna go in and hear the opener and make it to the second track. Like Kaytranada fans just will. And having Witchy right there, it really like I feel like it sets the tone for the entire album.
Oh,
Um,
really?
yeah, and I think it's I mean, like because some people will listen like when I first listened to this album, um someone recommended it to me and I went straight for like I played the first song Pressure and then
Hmm.
like while I was looking at the tracks I was like, "Oh, Gambino's on here. Okay, this is playing next." And I immediately skipped to it. So maybe I'm a little bit biased, but then I
Hmm.
listened to it like actually in order and I'm like I just can't I
Yeah,
cannot understand what the decision making. But I mean, I guess like again, if the worst thing about your album is that someone thinks that you should have chosen a different lead
a
single,
different order. Yeah,
that is a good
it's a
album.
strong
Like that
album.
is like that's the only complaint. Like
Yeah,
that is that's a good album right there. You know what I mean? So yeah, and I can kind of see on Bubba just based upon the features and people that he got on there. Like, do you feel like he kind of shifted his sound from 99.9 to like more of an R&B sound, like slowly? Like, was Bubba more? Because I see a lot more R&B artists. Like, you got
you
Sir,
would.
Kali Uchis, Masego, Charlotte Day Wilson,
Yeah, no,
Pharrell.
you would love Bubba.
Okay,
If you really enjoyed Timeless like you do, I think you would love Bubba potential like probably as much. I don't know if there's gonna be a standout like Witchy for
okay,
you, but like, dude, the track that he did with oh my goodness, Estelle, the track he did with Estelle.
he got
Oh
Estelle
no,
out there.
dude, it's amazing. It's
Okay,
amazing. The track with Estelle is probably my favorite, and I say that, but I'm looking at the track list right now, and
hmm.
it makes me just want to listen to Bubba again because I love that album. It's so good.
So
It's
how would
so
you compare? So how would you rank 99.9, Timeless, and Bubba?
honestly, it's release order, like 99%, then Bubba, then Timeless. But
Then Timeless.
you
Okay.
know, don't think that's not too big. They're all still like up here.
Yeah, it's
They're all still great.
like rating wise, it's like 99.9, 99.8, 99.7. No
Right.
pun intended, but
I
uh
think another thing, because I'm looking at Bubba and it reminded me that he put out a instrumental version of the album itself,
mm,
like
okay.
no features at all, and I think that album still worked really well, and I don't think he could do the same with Timeless and it
No, I
worked
don't
as
think.
well. I
Yeah,
think
like
he needed
mhm.
features more. Not that that's a bad thing, because like it feels like the songs are built around them. But I think Bubba just stands out stronger because strip away the features, you still have really solid just production and beats in the background to just vibe with.
Yeah, I think yeah, the best songs to me, Witchy and Spit It Out, they don't work without Gambino and Rochelle Jordan's vocals on there. They don't, because again, the chord structure is designed to highlight a vocalist. So,
Right.
um, I think I would agree with you on that. And I just noticed apparently Kaytranada is coming to Columbia, which is not that far away. So
The
that will
country
be
or the a city?
the city.
Okay.
Sorry. So for me,
I,
Columbia is like hour and a half. And I actually have a friend who loves house music. We went to a house show a little bit ago, and
oh,
he is from Columbia. So
when
plans are in the making. It is October 6th, I think is when he's going. That's why I love Spotify's new feature. I'm not trying to shameless plug Spotify now, but like now you can see like artists' events right next to when you're looking at them. So it's really easy for me to find like where Kaytranada is going to be. Um, Surprised he's not coming to Charlotte because it's a bigger city than Columbia, but he's going to be there with Channel Trace and Sam Gillitree. So,
let me see here. Columbia,
oh, that's not Columbia, South Carolina.
it's Columbia MD. What is that? Maryland?
I guess.
That's Maryland.
Okay. All right. Well,
Um,
never mind then.
oh, but he's going to Atlanta.
Yeah. So yeah, and Atlanta's like he's gonna be in Miami too, but that's pretty far.
Ooh.
Because for from me, Atlanta's like 5 hours or so.
Oh,
All
okay.
right. Well, that was exciting, but now it's not as exciting. Maryland, I think Maryland is closer than Atlanta is. So
Okay. I will fly to meet you at Maryland.
let's do it.
How much are
We'll
the
go see
tickets?
Kate Trinata. We'll go see Kate Trinata. So yeah, I mean, I guess like for me right now, like this is definitely probably like my second favorite album of the year, like right behind Samurai.
Yeah.
I think he released at the perfect time. This is the summer album.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, I'm definitely gonna go listen to Bubba now because I don't know, I don't even know how I missed it when it came out. But I gotta check that out, and I'm like I really don't have any low points other than some of the instrumental tracks blended together. I don't think the one with Anderson Paak and Sir was as strong as I don't think it highlighted them as well as
Hmm.
the other songs did. I
Yeah.
feel like they were not like hiding behind the production, but it's like I don't feel like you guys are really because Anderson Paak and Sir are two like dynamite features to have, but it just
Right.
kind of felt like it just I don't know. It didn't hit me as hard as like Glowed Up did or it didn't hit me as hard as Glowed Up did or any other Sir song really. So but either way, I still think that this album is fantastic. If you haven't heard it, please go check it out.
Hmm.
Um and yeah, like I said, I don't really have like even the low points, it just feels like I don't feel like bad songs. It just feels like on to the next one. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of hard to
Hmm.
explain, but it's like it doesn't really feel like there's no any poor performances in the song. It's just kind of like a matter. It feels more like a matter of taste than like whether it's a good song or not.
Yeah. I think that's the thing with Kaytranada for me is like he is just this kind of artist that exists at such a high point that I am down for whatever he is going to do.
Mm-hmm.
And weak points have never felt like they're bad because it feels like he puts so much time and energy to capture this vibe so well that low points are really just not as strong to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, from what I found listening to him.
Exactly. So, yeah, just a fantastic album. Please check it out. Next week we're probably going to review Bando Stone in the New World by Childish Gambino. So this is a perfect segue because like I'm like I wouldn't be surprised. I'm like I honestly think if Witchy had been released as a single, it would be competing with Espresso and Not Like Us for like Song of the Year. Like it's that good. But I guess in another life, we will find out how well it would have done if it was left on the charts by itself. But let us know your thoughts of Timeless. And let us know if there's another album you want us to do next. 'Cause like I said, the plan will be Bando Stone in the New World. But if you can think of something, just let us know and we'll add it to the list.
We'll check
And
it out.
yeah, yeah. Thank you
Until
guys for
next
joining
time.
us. Until next time.